Hey y'all, hey y'all, hey y'all, hey y'all. That's right, you guessed it. It is another day, another beautiful day in the city. Living just enough for the city high living. Woo! The bases are loaded, baby, and we are loaded. We got stuff to talk about. I got a new segue I'm going to introduce to you guys, along with my ones from previous. And if you haven't been watching, shame on you. All you got to do is like and subscribe. Hit that like and subscribe. Hit that bell. And we'll be coming to you every week because we bring this stuff to you on a 3U basis. I am your host, LA, and the bases are loaded. And like I said, we do it on a 3U basis. That's undeniable, unapologetic, and always unrelenting, never in that order, okay? And today we're going to be talking about some things that you know in sports and some things you didn't even know in sports. That's why this is so amazing to be able to come into your homes, into your mobile devices, wherever you're watching me. I'm just glad that you're watching, baby. And we get ready to get started. So with that said, you know what we're about to do, don't you? You know it. You know what they're doing. They're playing basketball. We love that basketball. Say it again. I wish it was a little bit taller. So guess who else? Wish they were a little bit taller. We're going to be talking about those Denver Nuggets and everybody else here coming tonight, all right? With the NBA playoffs. All right, game 2 of the Boston Celtics matchup. Boston is leading right now 1-0, and they have been handily beating people, folks. Like I said to you in the previous show, and amazingly, his coach actually came back and uttered the same words that I said, Mike Lowry. Yes, sir. Pat Riley said the same thing, and I said about little JB, Jimmy Butler, James Butler. Young man, what you doing talking and you're not walking? You got to be on that court to be able to talk smack. If you're going to talk smack, make sure it ain't whack, because you just fueled the Boston Celtics. They've been kicking the crap out of people as of late. You fueled them when you got up on national television and said you were tired of them and all of the shenanigans that are going on about the fact that they are the best team in NBA and they're the highest scoring team. You should have said what you said, because guess what? They've been averaging about 25 points differential since they've been playing, since you said it, because they stomped you guys. They stomped the Miami Heat, sent you guys home packing. Okay, even though it's not bad, in the words of Stephen A. Smith, down there in lovely Miami. Okay, now what's going on right now? They're going to be playing and see if those Cavaliers can match up with them tonight. Some say that's not going to be something easy to do, considering some of the, of course, notable injuries, considering with, of course, Jared Allen out indefinitely right now, so the Cavs are a little bit short, okay? Can't depend on Donovan Mitchell. Can't depend on one player. They've shown that. In the history of the NBA, it's five people out there playing basketball. Can't depend on just one person to actually get it done. I can assure you that, okay? But tonight, they're going to see, the Cavaliers are going to see if they can redeem themselves. Tonight, you can catch that on TNT. Or actually, it's going to be on, probably, if I'm not mistaken, it's probably going to be on ESPN tonight, okay, at 7 p.m. And that's game 2, all right? And also game 2 of the Mavs versus the Thunder, with, of course, the Thunder, OKC, Oklahoma City, for those of you who don't know, they're winning 1-0 with that amazing play of Mr. Gilgeous. Woo! That young man is no joke. Arguably, he was up for the MVP discussion. And a lot of people, including Shaquille O'Neal, voiced his opinion about it last night, saying he didn't have no idea why he only got 15 votes. And we're going to talk about the winner here just as as the show progresses, okay? And with the Pacers last night playing you know what? Woo! We're here, baby. The Knicks are in the building. Madison Square Building, the most famous arena, MSG, Madison Square Garden, baby, out there, downtown Manhattan, where it's Latin, and it's going down, as you know, because we know what we're doing. And I promise you, the Knicks, with the help of the fans the other night, because boy, let's get into that one, all right? That game went down again. It's been exciting with these Pacers. Reinvent Reinvent that old rivalry. I don't know how many of you guys are old enough to remember Reggie Miller, the Reggie Miller famous choke. Guess what, folks? He wasn't talking to none other than Spike. Yes, sir. Spike Lee. Aloysius Lee. Yes, sir. Spike, shut up. Leave him alone. Don't you get started, Spike. I know you're the number one New York, Mr. New York, the Yankee King. I know you love the Yankees. Me and you both the same, and we do the same thing. But I don't want you to get to the point where you giving those guys fodder and bulletin board material like you did Reggie Miller, okay? But we've got this young man named Jalen Brunson, named after the infamous, of course, Jalen Rose. Anytime that's right, folks, anytime I have to give Jalen his props, give it to his mom. Anytime you see the name J-A, not J-A-Y, no other differentiation of the spelling. Anytime you see J-A-L-E-N, that is Jalen's mom. Jalen's mom made that name up almost 44 years ago, okay? Guess what? It's a combination of his grandfather and his father's name. Grandfather's name James, father's name Leonard. Jalen. That's right. Jalen Brunson was named after him. Guess what? Jalen Brunson is playing much better. I'm pretty sure Jalen Rose will say, yeah, he's better than I was playing. I mean, this kid is averaging 36 points in the playoffs, folks. Averaging it. Woo! He dropped 40 on the other night. Okay? And last night was no exception. They were down. He went down in the second quarter. He didn't even play the whole of the second quarter, folks, because it looked like he had a groin injury. He went down, and it turned out it was his actual foot. He wasn't even grimacing on his foot. What happened? But all we know is he didn't come back out. And guess what? Yes, sir. Reggie Miller's chagrin. Those Pacers, and he's trying to be biased because he was on the mic calling. The Pacers went on a tear. They went on a 17-2 run in the second quarter, and they went up by 10. They were up by 10, well, it would have been 11 or 12 points at the end of the half. And lo and behold, like Willis Reed came out back in 1977, baby, came back out there on that court. He limped out, but he actually came out with a little bit of a hesitation. And sure enough, guess what? The Knicks, I blinked. I turned over to see what Donald Trump was doing. And when they were talking about Donald Trump and the hush money trial with him and Stormy Daniels, because I was hearing there was some nasty stuff going on, and Stormy Daniels was revealing everything. X-rated in this courtroom, of course. We all wish we could see it. I know I would love to see it and see the look on Donald Trump's face where somebody is really telling his business. I would love to see that, okay? Well, sure enough, I turned over there and I watched a little bit because I know we were getting ready to get spanked. The Knicks were done. Jalen Brunson is the plus 72 when he's in the game. And guess what? We're minus 27 when he's not. So I just knew that was it. Lo and behold, in the third quarter, the Knicks are up by 10. I had to take my glasses off and readjust my face. I'm like, wait a minute. The score is not the yellow and the blue. Wait a minute. We're the blue, the yellow. What? We are. Oh my God. Yes, it's not a bird. It's not a plane. It's Super Brunson. Jalen Brunson come back. And at the end, of course, to my amazement, they came back and not only they held on to that lead, even though the Pacers would make a surge right in the fourth quarter like they've been doing. And sure enough, it just came down, folks. If you're not watching the drama between these games, I can tell you right now, hey, find yourself some entertainment then. Because if you want to be entertained, get on TV, watch the NBA playoffs. They're playing basketball. The Pacers ended up with 121-130 was that game. And of course, Halliburton had 34 points in that game, okay? He was 11 for 19 field goals, and he was 5 for 6 in his free throws. Didn't work because Jalen Brunson, even though he only had 29 points, because remember I told you, folks, he didn't even play the second quarter. He had 29 points. And, of course, he was 11 for 13 on field goal range. And, of course, guess what? 4 for 6 free throws. So that took them over there. Took him over the edge. Pascal Siakam, he was on the boards. He had 9 rebounds, and there were 4 of them were offensive, and 5 of them were, of course, defensive, okay? Josh Hart. Remember, folks, my Knicks are encompassed of 3 Villanova champions between, of course, Jalen, Josh Hart, and DiVincenzo. They are no joke. Those kids were playing in college together, and they somehow have managed. They put that team together. They are running that team. They should be called the Big Three because they are carrying the Knicks, excuse me, and they are taking us to newer heights. The Garden, the city is coming alive with the Knicks. I mean, it's just a beautiful thing. Hartenstein had of course, he was on the rebounds, and he had more assists in that game. He had only one turnover. And of course, TJ McConnell, he had 12 assists and 2 turnovers in that game. Now, game 3 is going to be 7 p.m. on Friday. Don't forget to watch it. If you're a Knicks fan, doesn't matter whether you're a Knicks fan, if you just love basketball, make sure you're tuning in. All right? I promise you, something to behold. Let's get to those Nuggets. All right? The Nuggets game is going to be, game 3 is going to be 9:30. Timberwolves. Ant-Man. You know what? I don't even have my bell. I don't know what's wrong. I got to get my bell. My bell ain't even here. But I'm a ding, ding, ding anyway. Ant-Man, Atlanta, rise up. It's one of your native sons. That young man is going to be fun to watch for the next 15, 20 years, folks. He is single-handedly, he's giving it to them Denver Nuggets, making everybody on the Denver Nuggets madder than a doggone cat that just got found out that he had to take a bath, okay? I mean, they are pissed off. Okay, they are not happy. I've never seen them this rattled. Maybe because somebody's been playing them defense like they have. But those young boys from that Timberwolves team, that Minnesota Timberwolves team, is bringing it. And they are right now 2-0. Guess what, folks? You ready for this? Ding, 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 ding. I don't have my bell, but you can hear it. You can hear that bell ringing. Guess what? They are beating them in Denver, the Mile High City. So they getting ready to scoot on over to Minnesota. Well, the breathing ain't too good there either, but it's a lot better than Minnesota. And those guys are going back home up 2-0. That game's going to be tomorrow at 9:30 with them. Well, of course, no, actually, that game is tonight. Excuse me. At 9:30 tonight to see what's going to happen with those Timberwolves, to see if they can continue it and bring it 3-0. That'll be a shocking. Wouldn't that be something if they were to actually sweep them? Let me know in the comments what you think about that. If the Timberwolves, if the Nuggets, can you believe it, can come down because they're doing to them what they did to the the Lakers last year and LeBron. They couldn't handle them, okay? We'll see. Now, let's talk about those notable injuries right now in the, of course, playoffs. So it's something to behold because it's putting these teams at somewhat of a dismal loss. And we'll see if they can actually bounce back from it. Right now, the Boston Celtics are suffering, of course, Kristaps Porzingis. He's out with a calf injury. And you also have on the Knicks, OG Anunoby. He was playing so well last night. He was really, really doing well. He carried the team while Brunson went down. And Anunoby went down yesterday and last night with a hamstring pull. We'll hope to see, and hopefully it is negative. That way he can get back out there and see if he can, put some, of course you got to put ice on it first and now heat. It's a bad injury. I'm going to tell you, I had 2 of them. It's never fun. Sometimes it's season ending, let alone game time decision. That thing tightens up and you cannot walk, let alone stretch your leg out, okay? So let's just pray he'll be all right. For my Knicks fans, guys, we're pulling for him because he was formidable in that game. Like I said, he carried the team while Brunson was out. So let's pray he's got back out there now. For the Cavs, if you Cavalier Cleveland fans, Cleveland the land, you guys got Jared Allen. That's 90% of your rebounds. You need those offensive rebounds, folks, okay? You need the offensive rebounds to win a national championship, I can assure you. You're not going to move on if you're not getting rebounds. If you're shooting that basketball and your team is not grabbing that rebound, both offensive and defensive, they're that important. That's the reason why, if you wondered why the Worm, better known as Dennis Rodman did not let that ball come down out of that air unless he had it. And that's what separated Chicago that year when they won 84 games, okay, out of they won 82 games out of 84 games. I think they had only lost like 3 games that year, something like that. I can't remember. It was a phenomenal number. They just didn't lose that year. And it was because of those rebounding, their rebounding ability. It definitely is something to definitely take note. I can assure you that. All right, let's switch it up. Hey, are you liking The Bases Are Loaded? Do me a favor, hit that like and subscribe button and tell some more people about me. It keeps me coming and keeps you happy and keeps me smiling. Thank you. Let's go to MLB, baby. Major League Baseball. That's right. We're talking about it right now. We always start off with the American League. The American League East is tied right now with the Baltimore Orioles and my Yankees, them Bronx Bombers. They're tying it up. Boy, I tell you what, I'm proud of my boys. We're actually standing there. We've got the best ERA in our bullpen. That's what's keeping us up there, okay? Because we did give up a couple of games that we shouldn't have. Two, guess who? The Baltimore Orioles. That's the reason why we're tied right now. We're actually, they're 24-12. We're 25-13, which is right there with that differential point makes it that they're just slightly above us, okay? They're really not above us. We're really tied when it comes to for all intents and purposes. Right behind them, of course, is, the Red Sox with a record of 19-18. And behind those Red Sox, the Rays are 19-19. And behind, following them back up over there in the American League East is, of course, the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays are slowly coming. Folks, it's so early in the year, you can't take anything for granted right now with these numbers. American League Central. I keep you guys abreast of this. Like I told you, we cover all the bases, even though we're talking about bases right now in baseball. I cover them all so you guys will know. So that way, if you're interested in your team, that way you'll know, and I keep you informed. Because I remember I told you, when I know, you know better. I promise you, I can assure you that. The Guardians, they're 24-13. They're leading off right now in the American League Central. All right. Behind them is the Twins, 22-13. They've got a really good record this year. They usually do. The Kansas City Royals are right behind them at 22-16. Okay. Right following back up in fourth place is, of course, the Detroit Tigers, Motown. Of course, the Tigers right now start off really, really good, slinging the ball pretty good. They've got a really good, of course, bullpen. And they got some good sluggers on the team, but of course, they went on a losing streak as of late. And right behind them in the number 5th place in the, of course, Central, in the American League Central, of course, is the White Sox. Chicago White Sox is the other side of Chicago. That's the nice side, okay? I guess they call it West Side of Chicago. The White Sox, they're 9-28. Now, they're stuck, so that lets you know what the rest of the Central is doing. All right, let's go to the American League West. Right now, of course, those Rangers are steadily doing it. They won the whole thing last year. They're back in their winning ways again. They're at 22-17. The Mariners, 20-18. The Athletics, of course, Oakland, they're not going to be the next year, folks, so get ready. The Oakland A's are probably going to move to Vegas. Vegas is going to get I believe it, Vegas is taking over, isn't it? Okay? Sin City. All right? They're taking over everything. They're at 18-21. California Angels, I know they're missing Shohei Ohtani, who actually left them. But, of course, they still got, of course, Mike Trout. They're at 14-23. And the Astros right behind them. The Astros, can you believe it? The Yankees' nemesis. Because the Yankees been beating them. They have not beaten us this year. They're at 12-24. All right? Let's go to the National League. Okay? What's up, Braves? You slipped, boy. You've been on a losing streak. What's up with that? What's going on? You got some injuries, and they're not reporting. What's going on with you guys in this slump that you're in? That's all right. You probably pull it out because the Phillies right now are at 26-12. Right behind you, of course, of the Phillies is, of course, the Atlanta Braves. They're at 22-12. The Nationals are creeping up there at 18-18, and the New York Mets. The Mets are always behind the 8 ball. They're our little brother, but hey, sometimes they get on the ball every now and then. They're at 18-18. The Marlins are right behind them at 10-29. All right, the National League Central. In the Central, we've got the Brewers. The Brewers are leading the way by, of course, an average of 5.583, which is pretty good on the percentage wise. So they are 21-15. The Cubs are right behind them at 22-16. Pirates are starting to play ball again. They're starting to pick it up. They're at 17-21 right now. And behind them is, in 4th place, is the Cincinnati Reds. And they're at 16-21. And last place in the Central League, in the 5th place, I should say. Not last place, shouldn't say that. It's 15-21 is those St. Louis Cardinals. National League West, come on. Dodgers are doing their thing. They're at 26-13 right now. And their percentage is 6.7. Of course, San Diego Padres are sneaking up in there. They're at 20-20 right now. They're right at 500. That's their average right now. The Diamondbacks are right behind them at 18-20. The San Francisco Giants, I do mean baseball Giants, not my New York Giants, who I won't even talk about this segment. Oh, Lord, will you pray for us, please? Okay. And behind, of course, in the 5th place and of course, the West, the National League West, is the Rockies. Okay, and those pretty much are your standings right now in MLB. We've got some trades that are coming up. A lot of teams are still looking for those trade before the trade deadlines. They're trying to get their pitching staffs in. Everybody's trying to beef up pitching because right now the best ERAs in the bullpens are what's happening ever since they've got the new. If you folks are not familiar with baseball and have not noticed that baseball is ending a lot sooner, I know if you I've caught it or you heard something about it rumored. Yes, they have a pitch clock. So he can't sit out there and spit and tug and think about calling his mama or his girlfriend or his baby's mama. He has to throw that ball. He has to do it within 10 to 15 seconds. And that's the reason why that sped up the game. And that with that speeding up the game is causing a lot more home runs to be hit because guess what? Those guys don't have time to actually, to ameliorate the way they're actually throwing that baseball and getting those guys off point and not being able to see what's going on with that pitcher and how to read that ball. They don't have time to get that with that signal back to that catcher. So all of these things are happening in baseball that makes it a little bit more palatable. So if you're trying to watch, and it's not as long as it used to be, in essence, that's what we're talking about. We're talking about the longness of baseball. It's not as long. It makes the game go faster, and there's a lot more home runs being hit. So guess what? It used to be America's pastime. Some would argue. That's what I want you to tell me. Tell me in the comments. Send me a message. Let me know if you still believe that baseball is our number one sport in America, our pastime. I think one would surmise that it is football on both the collegiate and the professional level, okay? And it won't be long before the way it's going, hey, the world football, okay, that we call it soccer, probably is going to take over eventually because it's the most widely played sport. So we'll see how that goes also together, okay? And with that said, we're going to talk about a little bit of those, the NHL. I don't have an NHL hat. As a matter of fact, I told you, hey, inbox me, give you the address to our studio. I need an NHL hat. As a matter of fact, you send me an NHL hat, I'm going to not only promote you on this show with your hat, guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to mention that you sent it to me. Give you a shout out on the airwaves, okay? My producers may not like it, but guess what? We won't tell them, especially when they see it coming. That means you're watching the show, baby. You're doing it. You're watching and you're tuning in. And you're not being hard-headed. I need an NHL hat. Send it to me. Inbox me so I can give you the address to the studio so you can send me one, all right? Right now. Hello, and thank you for watching Bases Are Loaded. This show is brought to you by Hot and Saucy. Flavor over heat. I told you we were going to start talking about NHL because it's getting down to it, baby. The New York Rangers now. The New York Rangers, yeah. The New York Rangers are up 2 on the South Carolina Hurricanes. To a lot of people's surprise because the Hurricanes were a pretty good team this year. They were pretty formidable, and they've been doing pretty good. They've got some no icing rules and all that other stuff. Don't worry, we're going to start talking about hockey. I told you, I'll get you hip to what's going on in the game. I told you, all you got to do is take a trip, go to a hockey game. I promise you, you will not want to go again. I know that's double, but you're not going to not want to go again. I'm going to say it again. You're going to love it. It's fun, and it's not that cold in there, Mike Lowry, okay? You from Baltimore, you should know better, okay? Like, tell him, Mike D, you know better. We went to when of course, the Brown Thrashers, the Atlanta Thrashers were here. I guess they would call them that, the Thrashers, because they're the Atlanta Bird. The Georgia State Bird is the Thrashers. That's why they call the Thrashers. I know people thinking there's a lot of birds in Atlanta, okay? Because I don't think, does Atlanta have any Falcons? Send me a comment. How did they come up with the Falcons? Because I don't think there's no Falcons here. I think it should be the Hawks. I've seen some Hawks, all right? I saw a Hawk the other day. Poor little squirrel. I feel sorry for you. With that said, the Avalanche, okay? Colorado Avalanche right now. They're number 1 over the Stars, the Dallas Stars. What's up, Dallas? You guys have been doing pretty good here. What's up with that keynote player that you've got? What's going on with that? You guys got a chance to redeem yourself right now. Even that series up at 9:30 tonight. And you can catch those games on TNT, okay? They'll probably be playing over there tonight, all right? The Bruins games, of course, Boston and the Panthers. Man, They're tied 1-1, which is a surprise because the Florida Panthers are playing pretty good. The Bruins were just lucky that they eked in to the playoffs. So they are tied up right now. Game the other night, I was going back and forth. I switched back, and it was late at night. I went back just to see, folks. It was amazing. It was 4-1. The Edmonton Oilers had the Canucks, the Vancouver Canucks, 4-1. The next thing I know, I fell asleep. I turned back over the television again. I'm flipping channels. Guess what? The Canucks had caught up and went above and won the game 5-4. Folks, for those of you who are not familiar with hockey, hockey is one of the most hardest sports to play. To get that little puck behind that big, huge guy that's called a goalie, it's not an easy task. Okay? I can assure you. And for them to be able to come back that within 60 minutes, down 4-1, it's unheard of. It's unmentionable. And those Canucks did it. So they're going to be out for revenge. So they've tied that up at 1-1, okay? So let me know what you think. And like I said, send me a hockey hat, man. I need a hockey hat. Don't forget me, all right? With that said, it's time for LA's Gripes. LA's Gripes. All right, let me change my face here. Okay, let me change it. Yes, that's right. I'm going here. Man, what do I have to gripe about this week? Listen up, folks. It's real simple. Jamal Murray and the NBA refs. Let's talk about the refs first before I get into Jamal. All right. NBA refs. I know you got a hard job, okay? Because the one thing about the NBA refs that is different from pretty much all other sports, Mike Lowry, Shaquilla, it's real simple. They're more visible. They don't have hats, okay? They don't have masks. They're right there in front, right there on the court, on that parquet with the players running up and down. Remember what I said in one segment before, don't be a part of the game that messes with the outcome of the game. You're supposed to be the ones who actually are the curtain. You guys open the curtain. You keep the curtain going. You don't ever become an actor, okay? So, as of late, they have refs, NBA refs, Adam Silver. What's going on with the refs? What's going on with the referees? Now, folks, you're not going to see, you can't argue with the refs. That's the reason why last night actually, or day before last night, well, however you want to put it, the Denver Nuggets were getting shellaxed again, of course, by the Timberwolves. They were getting beat so bad until there was something that happened that shouldn't have happened. And then the aftermath that happened. Jamal Murray. Jamal, you have been an ambassador for the sport. You are a very humble young man of course, I don't know where you're from, Nova Scotia, Canada, but you're Canadian. Okay, and you guys are pretty much prideful on the fact of how you conduct yourselves with not only an astute manner of integrity, but it's also you carry yourselves like gentlemen and ladies. What you did on that court the other day, young man, was not only unexcusable, but for you to have the audacity and the temerity and the wherewithal and the unmitigated gall to sit up on national television when they're questioning you after you got off easily, brother. Jamal Murray, for those of you who don't know, Jamal Murray is the point guard who pretty much single-handedly took care of the Los Angeles Lakers. He hit 2 buzzer beaters to send the Lakers pretty much home packing. And before that, last year, he was the one, he did it all then. Yes, he did. He carried Nikola Jokic, okay, and those Denver Nuggets to a national championship, their very first in their history. Rich history, okay? But Jamal, the antics on the court, and now, my friend, off the court. It's one thing, we used to get on some of the players about their antics on the court, but your antics off the court, when they coincide and they are they're opposite. This particular time, young man, you tackled both. Not only did he take a towel and throw it at the ref while he's on the sideline, folks, he's not in the game, because had the referee seen it, he would have gone and he would have definitely just took him and tossed him out of the game. You can't throw stuff at the referees. For those 60 minutes, those referees are your boss. Those umpires are your bosses. Okay? Those line judges are your boss. Those time clock keepers are your boss. You're at work. You're blessed you only work an hour. And you look at what some of you players average an hour, it's astronomical to the average person who does not make that living and sometimes in some lifetimes. Jamal Murray has a $180 million contract. When you supposition then you break that down, he was only fined after he not only threw his towel, he actually after he threw the towel, folks, you would have thought that had been enough. The referee didn't see it. He proceeds, after the guy made another call, he takes off his heating pad and tosses it onto the court, causing a disruption, as I just did here. See how gripey I am about this? You can tell I'm emotional about it, because these y'all young cats, boy, y'all entitled. You're making all this money, okay? You can't throw stuff at the refs, and then you're going to throw a heating pad on the court, causing Towns to almost fall and slip on that thing. He could have ended his career. He could have slid on that thing, hurt his groin, or he could have pulled a muscle in his leg, or he could have there was just any and all type of variations that could have been detrimental to the health of that young man when you threw that heating pad on that court right by Karl Anthony Towns' foot. God blessed him that he did not step on it and slip on that thing on that parquet. And all they did to him, folks, was fine him $100,000. He makes that a quarter. I'm not kidding. That's right. Yes, 12 minutes. He's made $100,000 plus. That's all he was fined. And to my dismay, I'm thinking the young man is going to come out because he's seemingly a really, really good young man. Sounds like a consummate professional. Sounded like. Oh, he had his day in court and he completely cluster effed it. You know what the F I do mean. He had the nerve to sit there and tell the reporter in a very arrogant way, "Is there a basketball question you need to ask me?" What? You mean to tell me you don't have any contrition about what you did? You know what? Not a good look, Jamal. I'm all about giving people second chances, but you had a second chance right then. So I guess we're going to have to give you a third chance, brother. But you ain't on my third chance list right now. Not cool. All right? Not cool at all. All right. Got a ding, ding, ding moment for you guys. New segment. Yes, new segment called Did You Know? 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 All right, folks. How many of you are familiar with the game? Like I've been talking about hockey. So this coincides and it goes right and correlates right to the segue. How many of you ever heard of hockey? I'm seeing your hand. I'm seeing those hands raised. Some of you know how many different variations of their hockey there is. Field hockey. Some would call it lacrosse. Of course, ice hockey is what we're talking about because that's what pays the big bucks. Okay. Bet you didn't know this. Did you know that hockey was invented by a black man? Ding, 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 ding. Yes, sir. In Canada. In 1815 in Nova Scotia. Yes, sir. Believe it or not, Willie O'Ree was actually in the first black man to play in the NHL, the National Hockey League, from one of the most racist cities we got in America, which is, of course, Boston, the Boston Bruins, who's actually in the playoffs now. But believe it or not, he only played 45 games because he could not take the vitriol and the racism that he experienced on and off of the hockey rink. But believe it or not, folks, black men developed hockey playing in a field in Canada, in Nova Scotia, after they escaped from slavery. Their families would get together and play in a field with these sticks. And just like every other sport, I'm not going to say who, but we definitely know who would always try and take the credit for it. Just wanted to give you that little did you know moment. And before we end the show, I always end it off. Ding, ding, ding. Best happening in sports. Let's give it up. Kudos to Nikola Jokic. Way to go, Nikola. I don't like your game. I hate your game. But you know what? Somehow, the basketball gods love your game. Because this is his third MVP. He's won it again. Nikola Jokic, congratulations. You guys are not doing that well right now, as I've said previously, into this 2024 playoffs. But I'm pretty sure you guys will suck it up and get it together. You need to talk to your teammate and take him by the hand and let him know why you are the MVP. And you continue to be the young man that you are. Like I said, an ambassador for the sports. He's on videos. He's on, of course, a lot of commercials. And keep playing that basketball the way you do. You do it real, real slow. But guess what? It's a lot more to go. And that's what other teams cannot stop it. But I tell you what, those Timberwolves have something to say about that, don't they, Nikola? But congratulations again to Nikola Jokic. And let's keep it going. And then before we end the show, I just want to simply say, I want to say Happy Mother's Day to all of you mothers out there and all of you women who are practicing as mothers, the women who are mothers, just because you may not have actually birthed the child. Guess what? If you're influencing the young man's life, especially you teachers, I definitely give it up to teachers. I know a lot of teachers. I work with a lot of teachers, and those are mothers automatically. Your mother's automatically by default. Okay, so definitely want to give a shout out to all the mothers. I lost mine, but guess what? She stays in my heart and she stays in my memory. So hey, I tell you what, it's nothing like mama. Okay. So with that said, I want to say happy Mother's Day to all the mothers again. And I want to say to you guys who are tuned in, don't forget, send me a hockey hat. Don't forget to love somebody and love yourself even more. And also remember, rock that vote. Get ready to vote, folks. It's coming up. All right. I'll see you next time when the bases are loaded. All right.